The following program contains elements of programming that are previously recorded and may appear as live.
Welcome to Hope Reigns, a show brought to you by 8 Days of Hope, where we share God-sized stories from the mission field all around the country. Now, live from the WDCX studios, here are your hosts, Steve Tiber and Mike Fiella.
Welcome back to another week of Hope Reigns, a broadcast of 8 Days of Hope. Steve Tiber here, hanging out with Mike Fiella. The number 8 in the Bible means new beginnings, and for the last 20 years plus, 8 Days of Hope has traveled the country after natural disasters to provide a new beginning to a family, either by renovating their house, rebuilding their home, tarping the roofs, providing food through our mass feeding ministry. And then about 5 years ago, our fourth arm was launched, where we build safe places around the country for those rescued from sex trafficking. About 65,000 volunteers have traveled the country with us. Half of them are skilled handymen, handywomen, retired contractors taking a week off, making money to do some kingdom work, and other people like Mike Fiella, co-host today, and myself, we're less skilled, but we're always excited to be a part of it as well. Mike, welcome to Hope Reigns. How are you?
Oh, so good to join you again, and you're less skilled, but our hearts are hopefully continuing in the right place.
Yes.
We're seeing some good things, and you always say this, we bring new beginnings to families. Let's go. You have a new beginning in your family as of recent.
Yes, my son, grandchild number 5 is here.
Mm-hmm.
Hallie was born about 10 days ago or so. So Zach's on paternity leave. Zach serves as one of our vice presidents, him and Chandler Gurley. So, yeah.
Well, congratulations.
The 5th grandchild calling me Pops.
Pops.
Yeah, that's what they say, Pops.
Love it.
I love it too, man. There's nothing like
absolutely.
Seeing a newborn come into a family. So much energy and happiness and joy.
Well, I just brought that up as congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
Your family's growing.
Thank you. Hey, we want to give a shout out to some radio stations that carry Hope Reigns every week, like in Marysville, Kansas, KMLL. Thank you so much. Also in Muskegon, Michigan, WMCQ, and then our friends in Paris, Tennessee, WPRH, carrying Hope Reigns every single week. Mike, we've got a unique show this week. Our first guest today will be our newest staff member. I think staff member 16 now, because we're pretty much volunteer-led. But, Mike, God has blessed us with literally like $6 million of equipment.
$6 million. Amazing.
Shower trailers, laundry trailers, feeding trailers, buckets, dump trailers, trailer beds, and they all have to be maintained. It's all paid for, praise God, but it needs to be maintained. And Richard Anthony Torres, Rat, is our equipment manager director, but he needed some help because, I think last time I checked, we have like 20 F-350 dualies.
Oh, my goodness.
How do you keep up with 20 dualies, like who had oil change and who's got a new tire? And so Brent Baker is going to be joining us. He's brand new. He lives in Mississippi, works out of our Tupelo location. So excited to talk to him. Our second guest today will be somebody who's been with us before, Micah Gamboa. She's the executive director of Elijah Rising in Houston, Texas. We just finished doing a safe house project for them just literally a couple weeks ago.
Absolutely, and that's so close to all of our hearts. I mean, there's so many aspects of the ministry, as you've been listening to Hope Reigns every week, hopefully, but the safe houses are something so dear to our hearts.
Oh, my gosh. Trafficking is the fastest growing crime in the world. It's a $350 billion a year industry, and the World Cup is coming to Houston, Texas. And so I know Mike and the team are going to do some things to prepare for the World Cup. Unfortunately, when there's sporting events like that, there is an uptick in trafficking.
Sure.
And so there's more attention. And again, we appreciate Mike is an amazing leader, one of our all-time favorites. So again, she'll be our second guest today.
Got some good questions for her, too. Yeah, good.
Mike, we haven't talked about this in a couple of weeks, but 8 Days of Hope offers our listeners an opportunity to get a free will. So maybe you're driving down the road and you're in Wisconsin, or maybe you're in the Dakotas, and you realize that you don't have a will. You're married, you've got some assets, you have a child, maybe you're a single mom, you have a car, and you have some dollars in the bank account. And if something happens to you, you don't want the state telling you who should raise your kid or who should get what. And so if you don't have a will, we offer a free will. Go to 8daysofhope.com. In the search tab up top, just put free will, It'll take you to our page where you literally can have a will in about 20 minutes. It's valid in all 50 states, and it's free. I like free. Mm-hmm. Mike loves free.
I smile when I hear that word.
Now, during that process, you can pick a ministry like 8 Days of Hope if you'd like to leave something to a ministry that you're passionate about. Mm-hmm. If you choose 8 Days of Hope, we're honored. But if not, we still want you to have a free will.
That's right.
So again, just want to remind that we started that about a year and a half ago. Mm-hmm. Mike, literally about well over 1,000 people have taken us up on this free will.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
I love it.
Necessary, yes.
I know. I love that. So I want to encourage you to do that today as well. I want to give a shout out to some of our national partners. I think about our friends at Christian Music Festivals, CFA. Every Christian music festival in the country supports 8 Days of Hope. They play a couple videos every year during their concerts and during their festivals. Want to thank them for all they do. And also our friends at American Family Radio. Most of you, not all of you, but most of you are listening on a American Family Radio station. I want to say thank you to our friends, the Wildman family. They've been with us since day one, 20 years ago. We kind of connected, and we're still running this journey together. So we're so appreciative. Tim Wildman, Walker Wildman, the whole family, the staff at American Family Radio. And then a special shout out to our friends at WDCX every week. They put this broadcast together. Steve Tiber here hanging out with Mike Fiella. Mike, you've seen the equipment we have at our warehouse.
I have, yes.
Warehouses.
Yes.
And I think you were there at the gala. Well, I know you were at the gala.
Right.
What goes through your mind when you see $6 million of equipment all laid out in front of your eyes?
You know, my wife and I walked around the warehouse, and we were either silent in awe, or we kept on going, wow.
Oh, my gosh.
I mean, just to see the shower trailers, the feeding unit, it was just overwhelming. And the Bobcat, you know, is it am I saying it right? Bobcat?
Yeah, well, there's a nifty lift. You think that goes 55 feet up in the air?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
that's a nifty lift.
Okay.
And that helps us, we put an experienced chainsaw red cutter. That's the most dangerous cutter. They're the ones that will help take the trees that are laying on people's homes.
Yeah. Not this last trip, but the trip before. We're watching take the young kids and let them try the equipment out, just to raise them up and teach them. It was so exciting.
Yeah, we did that at our headquarters during the gala weekend.
That's right.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Now, how come there was like 6 kids in line, and then you were in the middle of the line trying to get up to that lift as well?
Well, they kept on pulling me out of line, put me in the back, and say, "No way, no way."
I love it. Hey, maybe today you're interested in joining 8 Days of Hope, and you don't know when we're going on our next trip, because we don't know. We're a disaster organization, we're disaster relief. And so very simply, text the word HOPE to 86373. Text the word HOPE to 86373. Whenever we go anywhere, we'll invite you. It's free. We provide food and lodging. Again, text the word HOPE to 86373. Let's do this. Let's bring our guest on. Brent Baker is joining us now. He is the latest staff member. He serves as the Assistant Equipment Manager. Brent, good morning and welcome to Hope Reigns.
Good morning.
When did you first join 8 Days of Hope as a volunteer, Brent? I was thinking the other day, was it Houston? Was it after Houston, after Harvey? But when did you join us for the first time?
Yes, sir. It was Houston.
Okay.
I'm blank on the year. You may know the year, but I'm blank on what the year was.
Yeah.
That's when I started, was in Houston.
Wow, 2018. I do remember those numbers.
Oh, yeah.
After Hurricane Harvey, you were one of 4,692 people that served on that trip. Brent, tell us a little bit about you and your family first. You know, you're married, you have kids, and how'd you fall in love with 8 Days of Hope?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm married. Beautiful wife, Morgan. I have 2 beautiful daughters, Paisley and Brinley. Paisley's 10, Brinley is 5.
Oh, wow.
The youngest one definitely keeps me on my toes, but we won't go there. But yes, I just through several other volunteers, blue shirts that lives in my area, New Albany, where I live. Gail Manning, Don Dabney, they actually got me involved just because I've seen what they did, and they pulled me in, and ever since then I've been hooked.
So, equipment assistant, explain what you do and what that's about.
Yes, sir. I'm the assistant with RAT, Anthony Torres. He's I just assist him, or we work together with all the equipment. If something messes up on the equipment, like right now, I'm fixing to go get a part for one of the nifty lifts to get it fixed and back ready to operate. Just anything to deal with equipment around the warehouse, anything that happens, just fix everything. And if stuff, order new parts, fix, so it's basically all the above, I guess. If it needs done, it'll be us doing it.
Talking to Brent Baker, he is the assistant equipment manager at 8 Days of Hope. Again, with over $6 million of equipment, there's a lot to manage. I don't know about you, Brent, but my wife has a car and I have a car. And my daughter, my youngest one, who's still home, she's in college. So there's 3 cars. But for me to keep track on oil changes and tire rotations on 3 cars, I feel like I have 16 spreadsheets going. And I like to think I'm an organized person. But there's a lot of work to that. How do you keep up with 20 F350 dualies? And how do you keep up with oil changes and tire rotations? And what needs to be lubed? And what has to be inspected? I mean, that's got to be organized chaos, but how do you do it?
It's organized, but it's not so much. It could be chaos, I guess, but it's organized. So we have the spreadsheets also. Every truck, every trailer, every Bobcat, skid steer, Mini X, everything we have listed on there. And then, like I said, the spreadsheet, then we step over and you got the hours or the mileage. And then we have it listed when the next oil change is due, at what hour, what mileage, when the tires need rotating on the trucks, at what mileage, so on and so on like that. So it's pretty much it's organized, but it's a lot to look down and keep up with, yes. But it is organized, and it's easy to look through the spreadsheet and you're like, all right, I got this truck I need to do within 2,000 miles. Well, by the time it gets there, you might have 4 to do the next week, So
I'm watching Mike's head spin.
Well,
and Mike, you endorse. I think you have one car, do you not?
One car.
Yeah. And it's sometimes you look down the odometer and you're like, oh my gosh, I missed it by 1,000 miles.
Yeah. Well, I'm hearing, Brent, the bookkeeping alone is a full-time job here.
Yes.
But yeah, with our cars, I wait for the text messages to come from the dealer, so you're ready for an oil change.
Yeah, there you go.
So,
there you go.
Well, then we come back from a deployment. We go back in and we update that spreadsheet on mileage.
Sure.
So just like we got 6 trucks coming back from Michigan, when they get back, we'll go in and we'll update the mileage, so that way we know how many miles we have left before the oil change needs to be done or the tire rotation needs to be done on them trucks that they took to Michigan.
I love it. Talking to Brent Baker, he's the assistant equipment manager, 8 Days of Hope. We just deployed to Union City, Michigan. We're back home now. And to his point, Mike, there's a lot to check or double check or get a glimpse of where a piece of equipment, how it was used. Was it damaged? Was there a part? One of the things I think that we take pride, Mike, in the last 20 years is we try to do our best to honor the gifts that come to us from our donors.
Right.
And one of the ways you can do that, you can buy all this equipment, but if you don't come up with a plan to maintain things in excellence, in essence, you're not being a good steward.
Oh, now, didn't you say once on one of the shows that some of our what's the right word? They were asking, we're still using equipment from day one because it's maintained so good.
Yeah.
And it was very impressive.
Yeah, a lot of this equipment we bought 8 years ago during Hurricane Harvey.
Yeah.
And Mike, you were at the gala. You look at these trucks; they look brand new.
Absolutely.
I mean, they're on like sites every single time we deploy.
Sure.
Multiple sites for sometimes weeks in a row.
Absolutely, and just the fact, Brent, you and Rad are doing such an excellent job of keeping these things up to date like that.
Yeah.
Congratulations,
Love
really.
it. Love it. Brent, what do you love best about serving with 8 Days of Hope?
When we go and deploy, just seeing the homeowners, they're at their lowest of low most of the time, and if they have a flood that's been through their house that's 6 feet up in their house, or if they have a big oak tree that's fell right through the middle of their house, they're in, they've lost everything. And then when we show up, just the smile and the way their eyes get big and just know, we're there to help, and it's all because of God. I mean, He sent us there, and that's what I love seeing is them homeowners. They think they can't rebuild or they can't go on the next day, but when we show up, they find joy and their peace again, that we're there to help, and it's all because of God.
Yeah, I love that. And Mike, you've been there where you show up and in a family meeting you for the first time, they're blown away that strangers are there to serve them.
Sure. And when your job gets a little tough or something breaks down and you're under the pressure, that makes it all worth it when you look in the homeowner's eyes and they're just being touched and they're being blessed. So, yeah, it's a great experience.
It does.
Talking to Brent Baker, again, one of the staff members of 8 Days of Hope. 8 Days of Hope responds to disasters on a minute's notice. If you want to be in the loop of where we're going next, you can sign up for our text alerts. Text the word HOPE to 86373. And again, when you serve with us, it's free. We provide food and lodging. Brent, you actually have served with 8 Days of Hope multiple times, including when we built our national headquarters in Tupelo, Mississippi. I think that you and some of the other local guys came over and did some volunteer work on the building. Boy, you've been all in the last 8 years, and so I love now that you get to be a staff member and get to do this, 50 hours a week and not here and there. Are you enjoying it so far?
Yes, sir. I'm loving it. I've always felt like, ever since I started, I've always felt like this is where I needed to be. This is where I wanted to be, doing ministry, doing this with 8 Days of Hope. I've always felt like that was in my heart, to be with 8 Days of Hope and doing what we do.
I love it.
I love every part about it. Yes, from building the warehouse that we have now to this new one coming up. We were there several weeks and days, helping build dirt work and all that on the one we have now. So anytime I had a chance, of course, to come and help, I was there.
I love it. Again, talking to Brent Baker, one of the team members here at 8 Days of Hope. Brent, we have a lot going on. We never know when we're going to go, and so what is there a challenge of having? Equipment just got back from Michigan. Well, you might get a call in 3 hours that we're going to Kansas or we're going to, South Carolina or we're going to New York. Does that create a challenge for you and Rat and the volunteers and the missionaries that work on the equipment? I mean, do you have the fire station mentality of you got to get that equipment back ready to go because it could be leaving again in 2 hours? Yes,
correct. That's why, like I said, I'm headed now to get a part for one of our lifts now to get it fixed so it is ready to go if we do get a call.
I love it.
Like you said, within the next 3 hours or another week. We don't know, but it will be ready to go. And then when they do get back, when they roll in, we'll start on the equipment that they took and service everything, grease everything, go through it, make sure everything's good to go. And that way it's ready to roll back out at a minute's notice, whenever we get a call or decide to go somewhere.
Last year, Mike, 8 Days of Hope deployed 24 times, the year before 25 times. So sounds like job security for Brent. If you're deploying every 2 weeks somewhere in their country, that means there's always something that's either breaking or needs to be maintained or fixed.
Yeah, job security and let's see, 60 to 70, 80 hours a week.
Oh my gosh! Yes, I know. I'm glad he doesn't get paid by the hour. That's for sure. I'm glad of that. Oh man, I tell you. Mm-hmm. Well, Brent, thanks so much for joining us today. We appreciate you. Thank you for all that you do as a volunteer, now as a team member.
Yes.
But we'll pray that today is a good day for you and you get everything fixed, ready to go again tomorrow. But again, give Rat a hug for us as well, and thank all the missionaries serving with us, because I know we can't do what we do without the equipment. And we bring heavy equipment. A lot of ministries don't. Doesn't mean that we're good and they're not. They do amazing work. But just the pressure of having heavy equipment ready on a minute's notice. But Brent, thank you so much for all that you do for 8 Days of Hope.
Yes, sir.
God bless you, friend. You have a good day, Brent.
God bless you. Thank y'all.
Thank you. Brent Baker, one of our staff members. Mike asked me off air. He said, is he from Mississippi? Yes, Mike.
Yes. Well,
was it the accent or lack
the
thereof?
Accent, it just brought me home. My mom was from Tennessee.
Oh, okay.
She had that accent all growing up. Of course, I don't have it. I've been born and raised in New York here, but
okay.
I was just it's just a warm accent that I
How
like
did I
it.
not know that? How did I not know
Yeah.
your mom was from Tennessee?
Yeah.
What part of Tennessee?
Tumaluma or something like Tumalo.
Okay.
It was a real small community.
Okay.
That and when my dad was in the Army, he was deployed down there.
Okay.
They met. Of course, work came to New York. He was working for General Motors here.
Okay. Sure.
Thus, us kids were born in New York.
There you go. Wow, we got the history. I like that. I didn't know you had Southern roots. That's pretty cool. Speaking about some of the radio stations that carry Hope Reigns every week, how about WVDA in Valdosta, Georgia? We were there last year after Hurricane Helene. We started in Perry, Florida, and moved up our way right up to Asheville in South Carolina. Starkville, Mississippi, about an hour and 15 minutes from our national headquarters, WJZB. And then our friends in Weatherford, Oklahoma, KAYM. Thank you so much for carrying Hope Reigns, a broadcast of 8 Days of Hope. Mm-hmm. I think the equipment I get most impressed on, some of the heavy equipment, Mike, we bring, sometimes our trailers are utilized, and I forget what a blessing it is to have like a laundry trailer.
Yes.
So we have multiple laundry trailers. So if there's a flood in the community floods out. All the homes, have to be gutted out and get all the moisture out of the house. But I guess sometimes I forget the laundromat, that means they flooded too.
Sure.
So where do you take your clothes to get cleaned?
Absolutely.
And then an 8 Days of Hope shower trailer or laundry trailer shows up, or a shower trailer as well.
Yeah.
To get a hot shower because
Absolutely.
you have no power and you can't get hot water. I don't know about you, but taking a cold shower is not one of my favorite things to do.
It doesn't work at all. And it was interesting you mentioned the laundry trailer first. I was thinking about that when my wife and I were down in the warehouse recently. And the conversations that have to happen there, because it takes a while to get your laundry done. We can say there's been salvations, there's been prayer, there's been ministry in the laundry trailer. Amazing.
I can think of Iowa. I can think of Ohio, Florida, where our shower trailer, laundry trailer was deployed, and somebody enters in a conversation with a volunteer and meets Jesus for the very first time.
That's right. And awesome. It's just God's using us tremendously.
Before we go to break, I'm going to give a shout out to our donors. Mike, we're a part of ECFA, Evangelical Christian Financial Accreditation. We get a third-party audit every year. Charity Navigator gives us 4 stars, the highest mark you can get. The dollars that come in, we have partners. We have 20 of them.
Right.
I think of like our friends at Grace Church in Houston, or the Church of the Woodlands, the Methodist Church in Woodlands, Texas as well, Covenant Church in Dallas. They cover our fixed costs. They give us a donation every year to cover our fixed costs. So when donors donate, 100% of their monies are passed through to families in need, either building a safe house for children rescued from trafficking, or making food like we did last year in St. Louis when there was a tornado. But maybe today you would like to become a monthly partner, $25 a month, $50 a month, $5 a month. You can do that very simply by going to the website, 8daysofhope.com, or you can text the word GIVE to 86373. Pull out your phone, where you normally put a name, put the number 86373, and just put the word GIVE in the message, and it will take you to our giving site. You can make a one-time gift. You can become a monthly partner, like I mentioned before. You can mail a check. I'll give you the mailing address here in a minute. But we just left Union City, Michigan, Mike. Before we even raised a penny for Union City, Michigan, we were there.
Yes,
and that's why our monthly donors are so important. So maybe today you've been listening to Hope Reigns for a while, and you're like, you know what? I'm going to sow into this ministry. I trust them, and I like what God's doing through them. You can donate online at 8daysofhope.com. You can mail a check. Here's the mailing address. P.O. Box 3208, P.O. Box 3208, Tupelo, Tupelo, Mississippi, MS 38803. P.O. Box 3208, Tupelo, Mississippi 38803. And know that your donation will be 100% passed through to those in need through one of our 4 arms of the ministry.
And we're thankful for our national partners that
Oh, my
allow
gosh.
us to be able to make that statement.
Yes.
It gets passed through 100%.
Yes, so thankful for New Point Community Church in Ohio, Destiny Worship Center, a church down in the Panhandle, Florida, Panama City.
Mm-hmm.
I think about our friends at Crescent Memorial in Tupelo, Mississippi, and Barnes Crossing Auto Group.
Absolutely.
You know, if you're looking for a car, Barnes Crossing Auto Group.
Yes.
Mike and I will test. I mean, they ship cars to New York from Mississippi.
Absolutely.
For us. So, yeah,
Love it.
Thankful for our partners.
Yes.
No doubt. Let's do this. Let's go to break. When we come back, we're going to get Micah Gambeau on the phone. She's the executive director of Elijah Rising. It's a organization in Houston, which is one of the hotbeds in the country for trafficking, sex trafficking. And boy, Mike, they are making a whirlwind of difference. They go out and they rescue, but they also provide a place for the hope and the healing, both medically and spiritually, emotionally, for those who've been rescued. Mike, you were in Erie, Pennsylvania a couple weeks ago, and you were at the Black Sheep Tour. They were doing baptisms.
Oh, my. And
And altar calls during the concert. I think 17 people in Erie, PA, you were there, got baptized. But what a night.
Yeah, I have never, ever seen in all my years of being around Christian music, and there's great things out there, a concert / ministry time, altars open, baptisms.
All night?
Yeah, the whole night. I mean, you said right after the first song, he said, I'm going to keep the altars open. And there were floods of young kids and then parents. And then it was just but that baptism, you're right, was awesome.
Well, tonight is number, as we continue to go down the path of these 28 cities, I think 16 or so are sold out. Again, get some tickets. Come by our 8 Days of Hope booth. We'd love to tell you more about the 4 arms of the ministry that we are a part of. There's an arm, Mike, that is a newer arm. We're 20 years old, but an arm that's really launched about 6-7 years ago was the arm that we build safe places for women and children who've been rescued from sex trafficking.
That's right.
We have a lot of volunteers that are skilled, not you and I, Mike, but a lot of volunteers, handy men, handy women, and they want to use their gifts to do some kingdom things. And so we just wrapped up our 20th project ever, just in the last 7 years or so. We were in Houston, Texas. We partnered with a ministry we've partnered with before called Elijah Rising. They're an amazing organization, amazing leadership team. And with that, let me introduce our next guest. Micah Gambeau is with us. She's the executive director of Elijah Rising. Micah, welcome to Hope Reigns. How are you?
Hey, guys. Thank you so much. I'm great, and I'm glad to be here with you.
We love having you on for a couple of reasons. And I was telling you when we were off here, you're so articulate. Mike and I were always looking over our shoulder, like, who are they going to replace us with? And then I think, then we get Micah on the show, and we're like, well, Micah could be one of those. Now, Micah, it doesn't pay anything, but just want to let you know that before you say yes to it. But thanks so much for joining us today.
I love it. Thank you, guys.
Tell us about Elijah Rising. Tell us how it started, what you do, and then we'll get into the relationship with 8 Days of Hope.
Yeah. Well, so I am not the founder, but I was here in the very beginning in our inception. We actually started as a prayer meeting. So just a little handful of folks praying from 10 p.m. to midnight, just a crazy way that the Lord has those inceptions, And so we started praying for the issue of trafficking in our city. And this was about 14 years ago. So it was kind of early days, and a lot of people didn't know what was happening. And then, more and more people just started coming. We had like 60 people at this midnight prayer meeting, which is wild. Yeah. And so we started kind of just being more formalized. And I just said, hey, I can help you with some, I'm very administrative. So I took the reins with that. And we started what we call now our awareness van tours. And essentially what that is human trafficking 101 on wheels. We, unfortunately, in Houston specifically, we have over 400 retail, like brick and mortar brothels where women and even children are sometimes being sold for sex right here in our city. So any part of the city, we can take somebody in the car and we can drive around and we can point to places where trafficking is happening. So it was a really formative. We started doing those tours, and to date, I think we've taken over like 20,000 people on these tours. So as you can imagine, so eye-opening, so heartbreaking, so mobilizing. And then from there, we started doing outreach and what we call intervention, going into these places, saying prayer and talking about it. It's just not enough. We got to be boots on the ground now. And of course, as you know, you start doing action, you start being boots on the ground, and you're confronted with the need. And so after that, that's whenever we launched into our Safe Home Ministry, which we were so blessed to partner with you guys.
Talking to Micah Gamboa, the executive director of Elijah Rising. It is a ministry in Houston that loves and serves those who've been rescued from trafficking. Trafficking is the fastest growing crime in the world. Mike, it's almost like hide in plain sight. You know, when I travel the country, I've traveled since I was 25 in the corporate world, of course now with the Ministry of 8 Days of Hope. It's amazing to me, the cities I go to where you see a massage parlor in a strip mall, like right next to a store or next to a service. And everyone in the community knows exactly what's going on in that building. And yet we all have like blinders on. We act like we're not seeing it, and yet it's there. And some communities have done a really good job of making sure they don't pop up. But Mike and Micah, I have traveled, and in probably every other place I go, I see them and I know what's going on, and it's such a heartbreaking thing to see.
Well, let's go back to the awareness. Now, I know you got the van tours, but there's a whole spectrum here. We need to get this word out in churches. We need to get this word out, you know, to pastors and youth pastors and parents. But the awareness. Let me go back to that van tour. How was that play out, received? What goes on during those tours?
Yeah, it's about an hour and a half where we have had anybody from just the general public, church leadership, to congressmen, right? So it runs the gamut. It's open to anybody. We say age 14 and up, because I'll tell you, the average age of kind of entry into this is a teenager, young teenager. And so we need our kids to be aware. If they start, right here in Houston, we know of multiple instances where traffickers have embedded recruiters into the high schools. So our kids need to know what's happening, right? But on these tours, we essentially tell them, hey, this is what human trafficking looks like. Here's what to keep your eyes open for. Here's high probability locations. And then we give them case studies too. Here's the actual stories of what has happened in this facility or in this location. And it is heartbreaking, but it's also enraging in like a godly way. If you look in the Old Testament, you see stories of men and women who were filled with the power of the Holy Spirit and emboldened to confront iniquity, sin, right? Immorality. And so that's what we want to do, is raise up the lay people, the body of Christ, because it's going to take all of us at different points of what we call like the river, right? Like we want people upstream, we want people downstream. We need people at all points of this along society to try and step in and intervene before it happens, during it, while it's happening to people, while they're being trafficked, and then even after to do the recovery.
ElijahRising.org is the website, ElijahRising.org. Again, talking to Micah Gamboa, the executive director of Elijah Rising in Houston. Before we start talking about the partnership between 8 Days of Hope and the organization you lead, you brought something up on the tour that you actually are okay with 14, 15, 16-year-olds, going on a tour. There's no doubt why trafficking, in my mind, is the fastest growing crime in the world. I believe pornography is driving a lot of those behaviors. And, Mike, when you and I were growing up, we're a little bit older.
Right.
There was always a place in town, you knew where it was, and it was a seedy part of town. And if you wanted to view pornography or do something in regards to that, you'd find a way to sneak in and sneak out and hope no one sees you.
That's right.
Now, these smartphones that I'm holding in my hand, these kids, their parents are giving them smartphones in 5th and 6th and 7th grade with no filters on them. By accident, sometimes not by accident, they view pornography.
Well, absolutely.
And way before that they mentally can understand what they're viewing, way before they understand that sex is a gift from our Father in heaven, meant between a man and a woman after you're married. And so all of a sudden they start to have distorted views, and that feeds, and then something happens. And I believe that's one of the reasons why this is out of control.
Well, absolutely. And Steve, that's a challenge. Mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, however you're deemed as, find out what's going on. Don't say, well, let the teenagers say, well, that's my phone, that's my privacy, that's what I do. Find out what they're looking at. I bring my grandkids when they come over. I got 8 of them, and the older ones have phones. Hey, how you doing today? What's going on? And we work our way into a conversation that is something unusual happening or what happened at school. Anyway, we try to make connection, dialogue to ask those questions. Did anybody approach you? Whatever. It's tough, but it's a challenge.
Let me ask you some questions, Micah, just real quickly. And it's not a game, but it's just yes and no questions. Because I think a lot of people, they think they understand what's going on. They don't. Yes or no, more American citizens are trafficked than immigrants?
Yes, it depends on where you're looking, but yes, in the United States, most of the victims are domestic.
Okay. That's probably when I'm on a plane and I'm sitting next to somebody and we end up talking about what 8 Days Hope does, and I've heard this comment many times. Well, they're illegal immigrants. I'm like, what are you talking about? More American citizens get trafficked than children. Yes or no?
Yeah,
there are children trafficked by family members.
Oh, 100% all the time in every setting, urban, rural, suburban.
That blows my mind, Mike.
And in fact, the number one perpetrator, the number one trafficker of U.S. children is a close friend or a family member.
Oh, no.
It's very hard to believe, but where do these children, who has proximity to them, and how are they getting into this lifestyle? Right. Well, it's their primary caregiver, most likely, predominantly.
Oh. And this is why you, the listener, and again, we're going to be careful. We're not going to cross lines if you have kids in the back of the car and you run into, the local, shopping mall. But this is why we need to be educated. 8 Days of Hope has a brochure that you can download digitally at 8daysofhope.com. Just go to our Safe House Ministry page. You can download it. If you want some hard copies, some actually brochures, we'll print off 1,000 for you. I mean, we've sent out thousands before to churches who want to give their families more information on how trafficking is going on. You can email us at info@8daysofhope.com, info, at 8daysofhope.com, and we'll mail them out. Tell the listeners, how did we meet? How did this come together? When was the first time 8 Days of Hope partnered with Elijah Rising?
Several years ago. I think it was 6 years ago now, when we had a campus that needed renovations. We were kind of entering into our safe home ministry, and we just needed help specifically with construction, with remodeling. We didn't have the skill set to do that. And so one of our board members connected with you, Steve, when you were here in town, and it was such a gift. We were just praying, however the Lord wanted to lead or guide, but it ended up that we ended up working together. Your teams came down, and it was such a phenomenal experience. I brag on you guys all the time.
Thank you. You're so kind.
Literally. No, seriously, because, you think, they're volunteers. They're probably not going to be as conscientious, not do as good of a job. But no, they are licensed, bonded, insured, experienced contractors who also have a passion and a heart for safe home ministry. And so you couple those things together, and the work, literally the construction work, the remodeling. You guys took our home, which was built in the 50s, so it was a little worse for wear.
Yes, I remember.
Had a hole in the roof. We could see the sky.
Yes, we could.
They came in, and in 2 weeks, they completely gutted, finished, remodeled, new roof, ADA bathrooms, new paint, top to bottom was a completely new facility, and it is still out there today. It looks beautiful. So the work that you guys have done has been just phenomenal.
Thank you. Talking to Micah Gamboa. She's the executive director of Elijah Rising, ElijahRising.org. If you want to learn more about what they do, I'll never forget, Mike. We were talking about launching a new arm, and there were two organizations in Texas, and we got connected to both of them. And I remember telling Micah and Brooke Crowder at the Refuge in Austin. Yes. I was willing to meet with their teams, but we were only going to pick one because we didn't know if this was going to be a full-fledged new arm or whether this was going to be a one-off outreach.
Right.
And hearing both stories, Mike, I remember leaving both meetings. I think it was at a local hotel and a conference room. And I remember going to my car and sitting in the parking lot, and I started to weep. Started to weep.
Yeah.
I was so overcome with emotion of learning more about trafficking, the need, and I saw God connecting dots where we didn't pick one, we did both.
Okay.
And those were the first two of now 20 facilities around the country, including the campus we built in Ohio, that $6.5 million campus for teenage girls. And so, Micah, your team did a great job of explaining how you would use the facilities. And we just left Houston again. So tell the listeners a little bit about what we just did for you in Houston. Here we are, 6-7 years later?
I know. It's incredible. What an amazing partnership. So we just said goodbye, a bittersweet farewell to your team, and we just love them. And we love seeing the familiar faces because now people have come back multiple times. So that's really special too. But we're doing something unique together in Houston, and this is truly groundbreaking because, believe it or not, even though Houston is on the top 1-2, cities for trafficking in the United States, we do not have any, what we call in the industry, emergency safe homes. And so what that looks like, what that means essentially is when police go out and they do a rescue or our teams are out on intervention, when a woman wants to exit, we call it exit, we call it rescue. However that looks, when she gets recovered, there is no safe home designated specifically for her, that emergency crisis response piece. And I'll be brief on this, but the reason you can't bring her into some of the safe homes that we already have are for a number of reasons. So she's in full-blown crisis mode, and as we know about trauma and the brain, she cannot make a long-term decision. Her executive functioning is turned off, essentially. She's in full survival. She might also be detoxing from substances that her trafficker imposed upon her.
Right.
So it's drug-controlled compliance. And so there's so many other reasons. She may have just been physically harmed, right? So she needs to go to the ER. There's so many reasons why you can't just bring a woman straight out of that trafficking situation into a long-term safe home. Now, so we need this emergency safe home, and this emergency crisis response is specifically designed to handle these high-risk, high-liability detox, medical situations. And so it's a specialized staff. They run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, welcoming women at any hour of the day or night. And that's a really key factor because, HPD can't control when that bust goes. It might be 2 in the morning, and these shelters, let's think a domestic violence shelter, a homeless shelter, they are not equipped to handle not just the 24-hour kind of round-the-clock nature, but also the medical needs, the detox needs, and the severe mental health needs that we face. So you guys have helped us create what will be the first, or the only, I should say, the only facility in the Gulf Coast region, in the whole greater Houston area, for emergency safe homes for survivors of trafficking. And we'll have 8 beds in this facility, which is really key because you don't want to go over usually 8 or 10, you because of the high mental health, severe mental health needs, severe physical needs, really. You want to keep it kind of small. Research has shown that women and severe kind of issues like this, they do a lot better. Recovery is much, much better and faster when you keep it in kind of smaller groups under 12. And so these beds are, yes, there's 8 beds, but a woman may only stay in it for 24 or 48 hours. So the goal is with this emergency, she comes out of an exit and rescue situation. She comes into the emergency safe home. We triage her. It's very much like literally an emergency room in a hospital. She gets triaged. She gets to sleep. She gets a meal, clean clothes, all of those things that she needs. And then we assess our team. We have a multidisciplinary team that assesses her needs, along with her agency, of course, to determine her next best step. So oftentimes that looks like going into another safe home, which is called a long-term safe home. And if you can imagine that being very much like an intensive care unit, again, in a hospital setting. So that's where, and that's what we do have already in the city. So there's multiple places that we can place her, both locally and around the country. If she needs to get out of town because, dang it, her trafficker was the cartel, like, we're going to fly her to Ohio, or whatever.
Sure.
Those are the decisions that we make in the emergency safe home. And so what you guys have done has been break ground for the entire city, not just for Elijah Rising, because law enforcement is going to use it. Other survivor agencies, victim agencies are going to use it. So the whole Gulf Coast region is going to benefit from the work that you guys just did.
Oh, you're in the center of it. You're doing a great job with this work. And I've got this always hits my mind, a question. Is there anyone, do you see, that is holding these traffickers accountable, arresting them, they're getting caught? So it stops from that point. Is there anything that you've seen?
Yeah. How's the legal system handling this?
We have not seen as much movement in, especially, Harris County, where we're located, is a little bit more lenient. There's individuals that are really trying to hold these traffickers' feet to the fire, so to speak. And I think Texas has done a great job releasing legislation that even holds the buyers accountable to a felony degree, which is amazing. The problem is when we get down to like the implementation level, right? We're talking DAs, judges. There are challenges of having to prove force, fraud, and coercion, which in essence prove trafficking. And there's a lot of challenges around that, having victims testify, because when victims, I was just talking to another victim service provider in another city. He went to court with one of their survivors, and she's having to testify in court in front of her trafficker, okay? And she's in the process dissociating while on the stand because of the levels of complex PTSD that she's undergone. So there's so many layers of challenges when it comes to prosecuting traffickers. There are things that I would like to see the legal system implement, such as separating the victim testimony away from the trafficker in court, right? Not having him present, not having her present. Things like going after the traffickers for other significant charges, like racketeering, or going after the money, going after money laundering, going after all kinds of different things that we could get them on. The problem also in Houston specifically, and anywhere that has these retail brothel establishments, is that we are not doing a good job of regulating those, of keeping those out of our city. We're very laissez-faire about it. Oh, sure, it's business. It's bringing business to the city. No, it's literally paid for rape that you are allowing and even regulating. So in our city, we have what we call a sexually oriented business permit. So that's lingerie modeling studios, strip clubs, you name it. And those, obviously, we know, and data shows, those are the places where trafficking and aggravated prostitution and sexual assault happen. Why are we permitting those things instead of just shutting them down?
Amen.
So there's a lot of work that still needs to be done, I think, in Houston and in the nation. And to your point earlier, we have a culture that is being discipled by pornography. So we know that over 86% of individuals are consuming pornography on a regular basis. That is discipling, informing, and educating our stance on sexuality, on gender, equality, on how we treat women and even children. And let me tell you, when I say I'm not exaggerating, when the issue of child, like younger and younger, more violent pornography is not getting better. It's getting much, much worse. So that is a nationwide issue. It's a mental health issue. It's a physical health issue, right? It's a public health issue that we've got to start addressing at the state and national level. Right. And if we don't, we are going to see an entire generation consumed.
It's almost like we're cloudy now what's right and what's wrong. What's
exactly
what is some of the points you brought up, and thank you. Talking to Micah Gamboa, she's the executive director of Elijah Rising. If you want to learn more about Elijah Rising or just educate yourself more about trafficking and what some organizations are doing to bring hope and healing to those who've been rescued, the website is elijahrising.org, elijahrising.org. If you want to make a donation, today I'm going to say, hey, skip 8 Days of Hope this week. Pour into Elijah Rising. What they're doing is magnificent. It's leading the way for other organizations around the country, learning from Micah and the team. I know that, and I know we only have 2 minutes left, Mike, but I know my son Zachary, who's on paternity leave right now, he went on the van tour, and that really, really opened his eyes to an arm that, in essence, is going to fall under his leadership for decades to come. That it's almost like hiding in plain sight.
That's right.
And yet God has called his people. If you're a man or woman of faith, you can't just act like it's not going on. And so, get our brochure, download it digitally. Like Mike said, get involved in your kids' and grandkids' lives. I've told my kids, I've got a daughter, she's a sophomore in college, and she is an amazing young lady. One of the things I told her growing up, I'm providing you this phone.
Right.
So we're going to have conversations about the content on your phone. I have that right. Now, when you're 25 and you're paying for your own phone and you're on your own, I get it. But right now you're
Absolutely,
not.
Yeah.
But some parents, Mike, and again, we have 2 minutes, but some parents are almost afraid to have that conversation.
Yeah, and you must have it. And you can have it in a way that isn't like, hey, give me your phone. No, relationship.
Yes.
I love you.
There you
I care about you.
There you go.
I want to make sure you're okay.
There you go. Micah, we love you. We love the team in Houston at Elijah Rising. You are one of our favorite. We're not supposed to have favorites, but let's just say this. We all love you and your team a lot, a real lot. That's an adverb, real lot.
A real lot.
We love you a real lot, too, Steve.
Okay, great. Oh, my gosh. Well, say hi to your husband. Say hi to the team there. Thanks so much for joining us today, and we will talk to you down the road just a little bit.
Sounds good. Thanks,
God
guys.
bless you.
Thank you. Micah Gamboa, the executive director of Elijah Rising. Again, the website is elijahrising.org. Mike, we got a minute left. I know we talked to Brent Baker, who helps out with equipment, but I have a feeling that you and I will be thinking about this last conversation.
Absolutely. I mean, the work that's being done is absolutely incredible. Top end. But work that still needs to be done, we need to do what we always say. Especially for Elijah Rising. Pray for them.
Yes.
Volunteer where you can, but donate to fight this fight.
Amen. You can become a monthly donor with 8 Days of Hope by texting the word GIVE to 86373. Text the word GIVE to 86373. Even for a one-time donation, text the word GIVE to 86373. Want to remind you that we're on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and we have a YouTube channel. And for the next, 4 weeks, we're going to be on the Black Sheep Tour, Ben Fuller's tour, telling the audiences about 8 Days Hope. If you come out to the tour, make sure you come over and give us a high five or stop by our booth. That'd be great. Man, we love you. Thank you so much for listening to Hope Reigns every Saturday, the same time. Same Bat channel. That's what I used to remember watching Batman growing up.
The Bat channel.
Yeah, there you go. Same Bat channel. But my name's Steve, hanging out with Mike. Thanks for listening today. You've been listening to Hope Reigns, a broadcast of 8 Days of Hope.
Thanks for listening to Hope Reigns from 8 Days of Hope. Come back next week for more God-sized stories from across the country. To listen to this or a previous episode of Hope Reigns, please visit our show archive at 8daysofhope.com.